Today on my channel, I'm talking about the 5 magic words that are just a mystery to Kenyans. I'm here at Ivy Styles Westland. I'm at the rooftop terrace right outside their Skyline bar. And what I like about this particular spot is that it gives me a panoramic view of the entire Westland skyline. I mean, just look at that. Don't you just love that? Awesome, right? Now, here's the thing. There are 5 magic English words that every human being should just use in their day-to-day interactions with fellow humans. It's not like we do not know what please, thank you, sorry, excuse me, and you're welcome mean. It's not like we've never had them, but we just don't use them. We are cultured differently, and in places where we use them, oh my god, we distort them to the core and they get a whole different meaning altogether. So let's start with the word please. Now, people use please, to communicate courtesy. But for a Kenyan, the Swahili word actually for please is tafadhali. And now Kenyans have this way. As in a Kenyan, it is just hard for a Kenyan to tell you please because people feel as though they are begging you or requesting you to do something, and so they will not tell you please. And especially if, for example, it's in the workplace and they are your superiors or these are your parents. I mean, you are the one who is supposed to say please to them, but not the other way around. And so in Swahili, we use tafadhali a lot, and it's supposed to replace the English word. When we're speaking in Swahili, you're just supposed to say tafadhali nisaidie na iyo kikombe or tafadhali nipeleke mahali. But when a Kenyan says tafadhali, it's from an authoritative background. They are commanding you. In fact, we've even devised a way of asserting that authority by including a word si before the tafadhali. Now, one of the peculiar ways in which we try to be courteous when we want to ask for something, instead of saying please because it makes us feel weak, what we do is that we substitute please or tafadhali with a tonal variation. So what we do, we substitute, we add that si, and then we put a tonal variation when we're asking for something, and then it goes something like this: si utanikolaki, or si utanitafutia ile kitu nilikwambia unitafutie. And we assume that cuts it. I don't know where that word came from, but they're Kenyans. Where did that thing come from? That si. If you ever come to Kenya, or if you're in Kenya and you've seen these things, don't worry, it's just how we are. We are just peculiar like that. The other part is the word sorry. Now, you say sorry to someone to apologize for a mistake that you've done, or an inconvenience that you've caused them. But here, we do not like taking responsibilities because it shows we are at fault, and here it's always the other person's fault. And so sorry in Swahili, it's pole. It's a word that you're likely not to hear. Most Kenyans, like a majority of us, I don't know what the problem is. I think, like I said, it's just how we are cultured. And this is not an African thing. It's just a Kenyan thing, because by there our East African counterparts like Tanzanians, Rwandans, and Ugandans are very polite. In fact, we even jeer at them. We make fun, and especially Tanzanians, because they are polite to the core. In fact, the joke goes that Tanzanian cops are so polite that they even request to arrest criminals. They be like, naomba nikushike kaka, una makosa, naomba sana nikuvalishe pingu, na hivi sasa naomba tuandamane moja kwa moja mpaka ile daladala iko pale twende kituoni cha polisi. And if you are to hear someone saying sorry, the most common place where you will hear this, it's in the workplace. And that's because the junior staff has messed up really bad and the boss is super mad, and they need to keep their job. Excuse me, my goodness, this one is just the most interesting of them all. Now here, if especially if you've been to Nairobi, everyone is always in a rush. I don't know where people are always going, but everyone is always in a rush. And so if someone bumps into you, instead of just sorry, and if someone wants you to give them way, ideally that's why you say excuse me, and they move away and you pass. But here in Kenya, oh, in Nairobi particularly, we have replaced that excuse me with a we've gone physical, the physical version of it. If anyone wanted to see the physical version of the word, the magic word excuse me, please come to Nairobi. We're like, and then you're just there with your polite self thinking, oh, what was that? Instead of that person saying sorry, they be like, get off the way, man. Why are you walking slowly like that? Like it's your problem. So excuse me, here in Kenya we go physical, and if we use it, and I don't think this one is Kenyan, I think this one cuts across the board, and especially ladies are guilty of this. So when we've distorted the whole meaning behind excuse me, and when we say excuse me, it's with that attitude. You see, oh, look, excuse me, like duh, like really, that's what it means. Whatever that means, that's not a nice thing, and that was not the intended meaning of that magic word excuse me. Now let's go to I won't focus on the last one, you're welcome. I mean, if we cannot say thank you, then where is the room to say you're welcome? I mean, but this one sounds so nice. Now picture a situation where you Kenyans, like you're in a matatu and that conductor has refused with the change, he's yet to give you your change, and then you just be like, hey boss, naomba unisaidie na hiyo change yangu. I know the guys will be like, whoa, are you from this city? But it starts with you. And then you see, sometimes I don't blame us really, because it's how we are cultured. Ours is an African country and we are largely patriarchal. I think politeness is sort of misinterpreted as showing weakness, and that's why some of these things we weren't really taught. And so it's really absurd, and I think in some communities it will even be seen as a taboo for an elder to tell a younger person, tafadhali, please, but millennials, like the guys of these generations, we do not have to live with this culture. We can change it. If you have kids, please teach them the 5 magic words. In fact, I think I went to my son's school the other day and they had this chart on the door, and it said like, these are the 5 magic words. So they learn. So you need to emulate the same things at home. And the sad thing, or rather the bad thing with kids, is that they learn from you, they emulate you, and so you can't teach them what you're not practicing. So if you're in a house that has kids, before you ask them to do something, don't just say, enda unipatie ile kikombe, just say, please Ryan, nisaidie na hiyo kikombe. And if they bring it to you, be courteous enough to say thank you. That's how you teach them. So these peculiarities and are among some of the things that just make us Kenyans. So dear Kenyans, I hope we can look at this and just laugh at ourselves and try to change where we can. It's just proper, and especially if we are going to interact with people from other cultures, then we pass as very arrogant, and you know what that means, I know, from our neighbors. So guys, just please try and exercise these words, even with your boys, with your girls. I mean, it starts right in your circles. That's how you make a difference. Remember, in Voice It, we also are so vocal about advocating for social change. I want to pose a challenge, like today, this week, make a habit of exercising, even if it's not all the 5 magic words. This week, let's start with, in fact, let's do a 5-week challenge, because there are 5 magic words. Let's do a 5-week challenge, and for this week, let's start with please. So this week we are going to do the please challenge, and you are going to say please when you are interacting out there. And then next week you're going to go to sorry, and the other week we're going to thank you, and the other week we're going to excuse me. And we see